Hi everyone, I'm Christina Dalcher, the author of Vox and also the author of a new book called Q, which is out from HQ Stories, HarperCollins UK, on 30 April 2020, so very soon. Now, as you can probably see, I'm not at Waterstones. I'm in my own home in the States, and in front of a few bookshelves, including the Vox bookshelf, which I love. It's got all the different international versions of the book there. I'd like to tell you a little bit about this new book, Q. It's a mash of dystopian, thriller, women's fiction, and I think it's got a fair amount of horror mixed into it too. We'll get to that in a minute, my relationship with horror. I love this book. I loved writing this book, although at times it was difficult to write, because there are some things that influenced this book that actually happened. They happened in the United States, they happened in England, and they happened as recently as about 100 years ago. I'm talking about a movement, a historical movement, that was all about a quest for perfection, a quest to create a perfect society. And this quest, unfortunately, came at many costs. So, the hashtag is Only the Perfect, or QBook. The question is, I wonder what we'll do with the people who aren't perfect. And like I said, it's coming out soon. Now, for a few books that have influenced me, I'm going to start with this collection of short stories by Mark Halperin. He's also written several novels, including A Soldier of the Great War, Winter's Tale, Frederick and Frederica, and others. This collection, it's quite special to me because I first read one of the stories in it before I knew who Mark Halperin was when I was 14 years old in an English class in high school. The story that I'm talking about is Katrina. It's one of my favorite short stories ever. I don't think I've ever been able to forget it, and when I was 14, that was actually quite a while back, so that should tell you something. The story is beautiful and lyrical, lovely, and very, very mournful, as is, I think, most of Halperin's writing. So, if you're a fan of short stories, and if you're a fan of literary fiction, and just absolutely pristine, beautiful writing, I urge you to seek out Mark Halperin at your local bookstore. Next up, this one was an accident. I had never heard of this author. In fact, I'm not quite sure whether I knew about the Booker Prize at the time this was recommended to me by a British friend of mine. This is Knowledge of Angels by Jill Paton Walsh, and it was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. Again, quite a while back, I don't remember the year. I have not read this recently, but I'm long overdue for a reread. There's a bit of dystopia in this as well. There's also an element of history that Jill Paton Walsh draws into it. And specifically, we're talking about the Inquisition. This is a book about tolerance, about beliefs, and about how far you go to protect those beliefs at all costs. Highly recommended. Now, we're going back in time again. Remember, these are the not recent reads, these are my favorite reads. This one is so old, Salems Lot by Stephen King, and as you know, or if you know me at all, you know I've had a lifelong love affair with Mr. King and his work. This book is so old that the price, which I can barely read, is $2.95, which I guess is just a couple of quid. I'll tell you what, if you can find me a brand new paperback on sale anywhere for 2 quid, let me know and I'll do a raffle and send a copy of Q out to the winner. This was my first experience with Mr. King. I think I probably stole this from an adult relative's bookshelf when I was 14 years old. It's frightening, it's well written, it's got vampires in it, which of course is just perfect for me. And it really was the beginning, I think, of my relationship with literary fiction, well, with literary horror. So, if you haven't read Stephen King, I'll tell you a couple of things. One, yes, some of the stuff is really scary. Two, scary is good because it makes the world that we live in now look much, much better. So, thank you again. Sorry I'm not at Waterstones. Sorry I'm not in the UK, but I promise to be there soon. And again, Q is out from HQ Stories on 30 April. Thanks.